According to UNAIDS, Côte d'Ivoire has the highest prevalence of AIDS in West Africa. Faith community leaders here realize that worse is yet to come. On the Balm in Gilead's first Sunday in Côte d'Ivoire's capital of Abidjan, the team had an opportunity to participate in uplifting worship at 3 local churches. It was a warm welcome and a reminder that the African trip was well underway. In spite of the linguistic differences, the team from the Balm in Gilead immediately felt a connection with their African brothers and sisters.
In America, when African Americans were slaves, it was the African Methodist Episcopal Church that started the first church in America for black people in 1787. Our church in America has brought us through slavery, the civil rights movement, and now we all, whether in America or here in Côte d'Ivoire, the Methodist Church has a key role to play in the survival of black people on HIV.
Later that evening, Cardinal Bernard Agré of the Catholic Church of Côte d'Ivoire hosted a reception for the Balm in Gilead. In attendance were high-ranking faith leaders from the Catholic, Methodist, and Pentecostal churches, and the Imam of the Central Mosque in Abidjan. Each represented the largest faith communities in Côte d'Ivoire. They had all come to join hands together to fight the scourge of HIV/AIDS.
Tout ce que nous faisons, c'est comme une goutte d'eau pure dans la mer, mais l'essentiel, c'est de ne pas rester les bras croisés. L'essentiel, c'est de faire quelque chose. Nous sommes donc très heureux.
Plusieurs niveaux. Il s'agit de la prise en charge psychosociale des personnes infectées. Et puis, deuxièmement, informer ceux qui ne le sont pas, de façon à ce qu'ils prennent les dispositions nécessaires pour éviter la contamination. Et puis, l'accompagnement des malades.
We want to thank Cardinal for having us in his wonderful and beautiful home. We are so honored to be here, not only at the Cardinal's home, but also with our brothers and sisters, even though it may be through poverty, apartheid, slavery, and now HIV. We have a history. We bear witness.
Cardinal Agré gave an assurance that the Catholic Church was highly supportive of the work of the Balm in Gilead.
Madame, Monsieur le Président, je crois que je ne peux pas nommer tout le monde, mais je vous nomme dans le cœur. Vous me permettrez de nommer quand même mon frère Sidi Guiba, le man, qui a beaucoup travaillé avec nous. Il dit que nous sommes allés ensemble, l'homme tabou, l'homme rejeté. Il a été déjà tellement éprouvé. Dieu l'aime, disons-le lui, et nous aussi, nous l'aimons. À tous, je dis bon retour et bon travail.
One of the country's most prominent advocates in the fight against HIV/AIDS is the country's First Lady, Simone Ehivet Gbagbo.
Un rôle à jouer dans la prise en charge du phénomène SIDA dans notre pays, mais dans toute l'Afrique. Et je pense que le SIDA est un défi que nous devons relever. Et le fait de considérer que c'est un péché, c'est la sanction du Seigneur, et que donc ceux qui sont atteints, il faut les laisser mourir, et ceux qui ne sont pas atteints sont des saints. J'ai considéré que c'était une mauvaise interprétation du phénomène, et c'était une interprétation dangereuse qui risquait même de nous. Vous n'êtes pas sur ce sens-là, vous pouvez compter sur mon entêtement à venir vous bousculer jusqu'à ce que vous changiez de position.
What I believe we must do to combat that is that we must lift up those voices like the voices in this room, and to show, we must put those voices, the voices about compassion, and the voices, the church that says HIV is a disease, not a sin, that nothing shall separate us from the love of God. We must put those voices on the radio. We must put those voices on the television. for too long, the other voices have been the loud voice. We must lift up what churches are doing so that those who are not doing anything will follow the lead of those that are doing. And that's our role in this partnership, to make sure that people see what the churches who are on the right side of this are doing, and to make those voices louder than the other voices.
Later at a press conference with the Catholic, Methodist, and Pentecostal churches, Bishop Boney of the Methodist Church prayed that with the help of God, AIDS would be defeated. He described the disease as a challenge not just for Côte d'Ivoire, but also the rest of Africa.
We are very much aware of the long history of people, foreigners coming into Africa, making commitments and moving on. Through this partnership, we will address the issue of stigma, the issue of education, the issue of prevention, the issue of care, which are the pillars of why the epidemic is raging in our communities.
After signing a statement of agreement, each denomination committed itself to mobilizing their congregations to fight against HIV and AIDS. As part of the BALM's commitment to empower people at the grassroots, the team visited the Methodist Hospital in Dabo. The situation in Dabo was quite grave. There are no medications to treat those who are affected with HIV/AIDS. Although there is a special ward for patients, funding has almost run out. There is a desperate need for medical supplies and equipment. Even patients know there is very little hope. This 30-year-old man died less than 30 minutes after we gathered around his bed to pray. One of the nurses we met at the hospital became infected with HIV after accidentally pricking himself with a patient's needle.
Il faut dire que d'abord j'aimais ça. Et c'est parce que j'aimais que je me donnais entièrement à eux, que je pratiquais mes soins sur eux sans parfois trop de retenue, que j'ai dû m'infecter parce que je me suis infecté dans le cadre même de mes activités professionnelles. Voilà. Hein? Je n'ai pas eu ça avant. C'est ici. Et vu que mon état de santé a commencé à changer, j'ai moi-même pris le courage d'aller faire mon test de dépistage ici à l'hôpital même. Donc c'est dans le cadre de mes activités professionnelles sur ceux-là même qui sont malades que j'ai eu cette maladie. Mais il faut dire que j'aime mon métier. Je l'aimais avant même de contracter la maladie.
From Dabo, we headed off to the Catholic HIV/AIDS hospice in Alepe. Baby Joseph was born just 2 days before our arrival. His 16-year-old mother died shortly after delivery.
The sin-sick soul